Hello guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Gav, aka BEYTEK, and today we're going to be playing with the budget Civic. What we're playing with today is we've got ourselves a set of coilovers. Yes, I know it's already got a set of coilovers on it. As you guys probably remember from the other video, I got it in a spare car that I bought and swapped all of the bits over, but it's got coilovers on it. These coilovers just now are called D2 coilovers, and yeah, they're okay, but they're really stiff, and the car's not a track car, it's just a daily, a bit of fun. And if I'm honest with you, I'm getting a bit older. I mean, I'm 31 now guys, Jesus, and yeah, the back's not so forgiving with these stupidly stiff springs. So a company just so happened to get in touch, Maxpeedingrods, and says, do you want to try some of our coilovers? So I thought, yeah, why not? I need to change these ones anyway. So I've been speaking to them, and yeah, we sorted out some suspension for it. So I went for the adjustable type, and I did ask to have soft springs. I asked for 8k fronts, 5k rear. I see a lot of people online commenting saying the coilovers are not that great because they're too stiff or they're too soft. Well, naturally, you know, you have to ask for the spring rate you want. You can't just expect them to turn up and then that be it. Like, you wouldn't run a wastegate with a 40 psi spring in it and then complain that the rods have come through the block. I mean, oh, it's a shit wastegate because my rods came out the block. Well, no, that's not how it works. Yeah, so naturally every car is going to be different, and you're going to have to ask for the spring rates that you want. I wanted them soft because I'm going to show you how stiff these are. You see that? Now the fronts on these, if you remember, are alright. They've got a bit of travel. Still quite stiff. So here we have it. Here's a box from Maxpeedingrods. You guys are going to see this just at the same time as I am, and we'll see what we've got inside. Oh, here, I'm opening the wrong side. This is the bottom. Right, so there we have it. Nice shiny new things. Got a couple of leaflets here. Customer service card, cool. Some information if you want there. Any discount codes for you guys? I'll attach that to the link below in the video. I'm sure I'll get a discount code off these guys because they seem pretty helpful to these YouTubers, that's for sure. First thing is notice in the box, collars. So these collars here are, if you're running like an EF or an EG, you'll have different sized forks. So that's to fit inside there. So that's handy to have them because obviously everyone's got different cars. First initial inspections look clean, obviously. Nice bit of kit. Show you guys here. Nice and shiny. And good anodizing. I like the black here, you know, it looks like it's got some sort of protection, although I will be greasing these. I'll be taking them apart and greasing the threads. A rubber top mount there, it's good for a bit of shock absorption. And under here we've got our adjustable rates here. Now I've seen somebody say that these don't work, so I'm going to test that out. I'll pull the spring off, I'll adjust these and see if we can actually see on the camera the difference between them to see if these work or not. Pull out the front. So they come with the brake line holders here and top mount as well for the spring. Isolators here. Yeah, they look alright. Yeah, look forward to trying these things out in the car. Again, more dampening adjustment, so you can hear there. I think they're a 12 or 24 way, I can't quite remember. But they're adjustment, and we've got C-spanners as well. Oh, and a little Allen key as well, so all the gear, no idea. So just like that. We have the wheels off, axle stands underneath the car. Please don't just use a jack, guys, because I'll tell you the truth, I used to back in the day, and it's not worth putting your life on a 12 pence bit of O-ring. Here's the wee engine bay. She's looking great. Little Pulsar G25 550 doing its thing. We're around about 3,000 miles on it now. Boosted around 1.5 bar of boost daily, and it's been absolutely great. So loving that wee turbo setup, and yeah, she's looking nice and clean. So I'm happy with the engine side of things, apart from all the smoke. And we're gonna have to get to that at some point, guys, because I'm not joking, it's getting bad. So as you can see in here, this is the D2 coilovers I have on the car. Yeah, they're super rusty. I really need to get these things changed out as well. You can see they're all seized and stuff. But not only that, is the dampening adjustment on them as well broke. And yeah, I don't like how stiff they are. So I could probably change out the springs, but then all the valving and stuff inside it's going to be different too. So why not just chuck on some of these Maxpeedingrods ones, and we'll see how it does. And likewise for the rears as well, they're you know, obviously in the rear of the car. Pretty simple to undo this one, it's just a bolt on the bottom, and probably swing off the car to try and get the shocks out. There we go. The way I've done it is the shock's still in the car. I've removed this here. This is a 14mm bolt that goes through the back, or 14mm head I should say, and this is 217s that go through the bottom. Pull off this, and I've just to undo 2 bolts at the top here, up here, and that should drop down. So look like a 14mm. She's just gone flying. And I've actually not got any power tools with me today, because all my power tools are at my unit where I've got the caddy, because I'm making progress on that. But I'm not filming any of it, to be honest with you, because when it comes to welding and stuff like that, I get a little bit stressed out when doing tin work, and yeah, I didn't want to film it because it'd be a lot of swearing. Well, it'd be the norm for me, to be honest, but you know, more than probably usual, let's say that much. Oh look, they've thrown themselves off the car. That's how much they wanted to come off. Oh, look how shiny the new one is. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to pull this apart and grease all the threads up and stuff. But yeah, you can see here by the thickness of these springs, they're really stiff, eh? And the ones I went for were these. So these are 8K. I think these are like 12 or something like that. They really are stiff, far too stiff for me. So yeah, and the adjustment in the top down here is broken. So we've got this nice new ones to go on. Looking good. So what we'll do here is I'll pull off all this stuff here. I'm going to give all this a nice greasing up with like an anti-seize grease. Probably like a CV Molly grease, which would be nice, because these are nice and free just now, but once you get some years under the belt, I tell you what, they will not look like this. So now I'm taking off this spring here. So this one's under tension, and you'll find actually that the preload on them is probably around about 5 turns. That's your usual, your BC coilovers, your 10, all that makes. Generally say 4 or 5 full turns of this nut against this spring is enough preload. So I'll probably just do the same on this. It felt about the same anyway. So, but yeah, the reason I'm taking the spring off is 1 to grease it, but 2 to show you, to see if this dampening actually works, and hopefully the camera can pick up the difference. Even if it's in time, it takes me to push the, you know, the piston down. But I can feel it. I can 100% feel it. So I hope I can show you guys in the camera it working. Look at these things. Quite pretty, eh? It's crazy you can actually get this this sort of thing for the money. You know what I mean? Coilovers this. So look, she comes with a wee bump stop as well inside there, so you're not completely bottoming it out. Actually, by the looks of it, in here you've got this top cap here. You could actually unscrew this, fill up and put different weights of oil in if you decided that, you know, your oiling weights, maybe if you want it super soft you'd put a thinner oil in here, if you want it super firm you'd put a thicker oil in, and that's one way to control is your oil weights. So we've got that there, which is completely adjustable, and inside here you're going to have different valving for the dampening itself. So how the valving works is basically, you can imagine this rod comes down here and you've got a piston, say in the middle just now, and you have holes in the piston, loads of holes, kind of like a Swiss cheese, and what you do is when you're turning the knob there, you're actually twisting round these holes, and the more holes that line up means more fluid transfers between the top and the bottom chamber, which makes it easier to move back up and down. And then when you tighten it up the other way to increase the stiffness of the dampening, the holes close up, so there's less fluid that can flow in and out, and that then makes it stiffer to go up and down. That's the simplest way I can explain how dampening works to you guys. You can YouTube it yourself and see if you can get somebody that can explain it a little bit better. But yeah, so what we'll do here, just push to see who it is. You can see that's quite easy for me to push. So what we'll do now is we'll increase the dampening. So we've increased the dampening and we'll see if it makes any difference. I'm going to put more effort behind it. You can see it's moving in the vise now, because it is a good bit more stiffer. This is a really crude way of showing you guys, but I just want to see if it actually works or not. I can feel the difference, so that's always good. Slacken it right off again. And we'll see. Now if you can't see the difference in that, you're just going to have to take my word to believe in that dampening's working. So happy with that. The fluid rate in it just now is quite fast, which is going to be fine for my soft setup. But if you were wanting it really stiff, again you would order the stiffer springs, and you could also put in thicker fluid in here if you wanted to. So now I'm going to paint it. I'm just going to use this CV lithium moly grease. It's just fine. It'll just give it a little bit of anti-corrosion. You know, the anodizing itself will give anti-corrosion. Jesus, I went a wee bit wild there. But, you know, just to give it a little bit more, just a little bit of protection, to make it last a bit longer, because aluminium anodizing itself, although it does stop a little bit of corrosion, you know, you can never beat a bit of grease. So here we have 70.5, which is the internal size of the spring. 12 is 12 inches, I take it, and 8 there is the 8K of the spring. So yeah, what we'll do now is we'll assemble this back up again. So this here, you have an intermediate ring. This just basically helps this spring, when it's sitting on the aluminium, to rotate. You don't have to do this, guys. This is not a how-to, this is just how I'm doing it. It's the way I always do it, and it works a treat for me, so copy if you wish. So at this point here, I'm going to preload the spring now. As you can see, I've made a wee score, or just a little mark there, so I can actually count the revolutions. And I'm probably going to go for, 4 or 5. I'll probably start off with 4, and I'll see how much effort it's taking me to turn this collar, and then we'll go from there. Another thing I should say as well, obviously the coilover's on its side. You're going to have oil on the bottom and air at the top. That's why you'll hear the solution while I was, you know, increasing it back and forward to check dampening. So, yeah, obviously, naturally, they're up and down the way. They're not supposed to be on their sides. But yeah, anyway, going to clamp this down. So I'm probably going to go for 4 turns, actually. I'll go for 4 turns, and we'll put the other locking rings on, and this piece here, and stick it in the car. Remember, you don't lower the car by loosening this and lowering that. You actually lower the car by adjusting the height of this cup here. And that is what gives you your ride height. Obviously, higher, lower, higher, lower. This always stays the same. back in the day, like, we didn't really have this preload adjustable coilovers back in the day. So what we used to do to make it even lower was, one, we'd cut the springs and stuff. Two, we'd take out helper springs, we'd take all that stuff off, and you know, the spring would be rattling about the place, and if you jacked the car up, the spring would just come bouncing about the place, which was fun at the time. However, when you start realising the dangers and implications of that, you know, if you've cut a spring and it's a sharp edge, you go over a big bump, it dislodges, goes into the side of your tyre. That's not a good day, is it? But well, that's a good thing about modern day coilovers. They're thinking more of people's safety, but again, they're not something, you know, should be sniffed upon, because it's one of the elements that's holding your wheels on. I mean, come on. Sorted. As you can see in here, I had the little sleeve because this is obviously an EK, so yeah, it requires a sleeve. So just need to chuck the bolt in the back now, and the bolt down there, tighten the top ends, and that's this side done. Looks a bit too clean for this car, eh? So just grease up this bolt as well, and we'll stick this in here. Oh, beautiful. I'm going to have them fully soft because I want the car to be a soft setup, because it is a daily and it's not a track car. So the fronts went on super easy. I was pretty happy with that, because sometimes it can be a bit tricky. I tried that new technique of dropping the fork, and that actually worked a lot better than the usual. We have to try and pull the swing arm off. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the back. The back's easy, it's just a bolt at the bottom there and 2 bolts in the top. In fact, the hardest part about doing the back is probably removing the interior trim, which is only about 3 bolts, or screws I should say. So first bolt is out, just goes underneath there through the arm. The second bolt, or the other set of bolts I should say, are down in there. Can you see them? Just them 2 14mm bolts, whip them off, and that shock will drop out. Timber! Oh, well, that was less eventful than I was expecting it to be. So here we have it. Here's the rear, and as you can see, these were D2 coilovers. Yeah, they were no bad, they're just super stiff, and I think this one's starting to leak as well. And the adjusters inside here, they're like little Allen keys. They were proper. Well, one is actually snapped off inside, the other one was proper seized. So there we have it. So the coilover's on, looking nice and shiny, all greased up. I've left the lock rings loose just now because I'm going to have to adjust them. You can see I've got the spacers in here, again because I'm an EK. So that is all just 100% bolt on. So far it's been nice and easy, and no bolts have had to fight me yet. I've had them off before, so you know, everything's greased up and easy to come off that way. But yeah, so that's this side done. I've got to put the wheels and stuff back on again, and then work on the other side. I'll not bother filming that because it's just the same, but like upside down, like if you were living in Australia, because that's the other side of the world. And there we have it. She's back on all 4 wheels. I need to raise the back end up a little bit, try and match the front. A lot of people will be saying it's really high, but I like them a little bit higher because I like my tracking to be on point, you know. You need camber adjusters and toe adjusters and stuff if you want to go super low. So yeah, we'll sort that, but yeah, we'll do a quick bounce check. I know it's not exactly ideal, but it'll give us an idea if it's moving any more than the last one. Perfect. That's how it should be. Bear in mind, handbrake was on as well, so that's going to limit it a little bit. Let's take this little beast for a drive and we'll see how the suspension is now. Bouncing about the place like it used to, which is good because on these back roads where I basically live, you need to have a car planted with nice forgiving suspension. Because you have little sharp corners like that everywhere. Love it. You guys could probably see it on this camera mount I've got here on the window. It's probably a lot more steadier. I'm going round corners here. Car feels nice and nimble still, and you know, I'm not harsh, I'm not like jittering about the place, which is fine because the kids will enjoy that a wee bit more as well. So a wee bit of a chaff. So you're probably aware by now, I'm not your usual sort of YouTube channel. If someone's shit, I'll tell you it's shit. And I'm not paid by these guys at all. They've given me them to review them, and the last coilers I took off were the D2 coilovers. The spring rate was just far too stiff for me, so now I'm really happy. I've got the 5k rear, the 8k front. On they ones, I think they were like 12k front and 14k on the back on the old ones, which is just too much. It's okay if you're a race car, don't get me wrong, but that's a daily little beater for the back roads. It's not some sort of track car or drag race car or anything like that, so just a fast back road car. So the suspension set up there, I've been out for a drive, feels really good, feels still nice and planted but not over the top, you know. I'm still feeling nice bumps. I'm not getting like jerked about the place anymore, which is fine, because when the kids are in the back of the thing, you know, their wee heads are getting bobbed about the place with the stiff their little heads are getting bobbed around the place with the stiff suspension. Something that's a little bit more softer is absolutely perfect and exactly what I want. Something that's sort of similar to stock, maybe a little bit stiffer, but I can also lower and raise the car, which is exactly what I'm after, and that's exactly what I've got. So guys, thank you for coming along watching this. Maxpeedingrods have actually given me a discount code if you guys want these coilovers as well. I think it's something crazy like 17%. So yeah guys, I'll leave that discount code and actually the link to these in the description as well. I'll just chuck it all down there so you can see, and if you want to get yourself some, you can get some discount. And I mean 17%, it's pretty good going, let's be honest. So yeah, anyway guys, as per usual, thanks for coming along and watching the video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!